Welcome to the 25th Hour podcast, where successful business owners share their strategies on how they stay in control of their day. It's important that you can live a full life and work less and still accomplish more. And our guest today, Rachel Kabb-Effron, shares how she does this. Rachel's owned the Kabb Law Firm since 2001. She holds a bachelor's in poli-sci from the University of Cincinnati, and her law degree is from the Cleveland Marshall College of Law. She's a certified elder law attorney from the National Elder Law Foundation and the Ohio State Bar Association. In her free time, she loves the theater, dancing, and singing, and she's been married to her husband since '96, and they have 2 daughters. What I love about the conversation Rachel and I have is that she has such a unique way to view how her efficiency has increased during the pandemic. And having a personal relationship with Rachel, I know how much she loves the time that she saves by being efficient and effective throughout the day to actually do more of the things she loves. Like when we talk about what do you do in your 25th hour, Rachel has like the 25th hour, the 26th hour, the 27th hour. She makes sure that she can grab so much from each and every day. So I hope you enjoy a conversation that we had together and that you can adopt 1 or 2 of Rachel's strategies. Hi, Rachel. I'm super excited that you're here with us today.
Hey, Lisa. Thanks for having me.
Oh, it is totally my pleasure. I know that you are busy. You're involved in a lot of nonprofits. You run a successful business. You have a family. You have a huge interest in singing and performing in theater and all of these things. That being said, I'm curious, what do you do? What are some of the strategies you use to stay in control of your day?
Wow. Okay. So I'm a mom of 2, one in college and one at home in high school, virtual high school, whatever. So great. And I'm a wife, and I'm an employer of about 3 or 4 people. And time is critical. Like you know, from coaching me, it's so critical. And I think the best thing that we did and we talked about was, what was that sweet spot in my day that was when I was most productive? And so I've really, at first it felt like a fish riding a bicycle, but now it's like, no, 11 o'clock is my sweet spot. If you want my best, smartest lawyery time, like that's it, and if it's 11 and 1 and everything else kind of fills in around that. And if I'm not a morning person, which I'm kind of not, then I don't schedule like my best times around that necessarily. But I can do other things like paperwork or catch up or networking meetings or Zoom calls or whatever. I can do some of those things. I think though, here's my secret. I think COVID was the best thing for efficiency that ever happened in my practice, right? I don't know about you, but it's like, I could be on Zoom, do it like in first meeting, do staff meetings, do everything via Zoom. And we don't have like all the rigmarole of like how long things go in an office versus, on Zoom. So I think that's probably been one of the biggest things, but really it's finding that sweet spot of like where I'm productive and then working around that,
Right. So you're holding that high time in your schedule, that 11 o'clock-ish time, sacred.
Right.
And then scheduling all around that.
Right. Exactly. And I always joke with my clients that I'm like, if you come in for a 4 o'clock on a Friday appointment, you should only pay half price, because I'm only half there. Like I'm not as smart on Fridays as I am like that Monday spot or whatever it is, depending on like how tired I am. So it's like, and it's not even like tired from like a physical, like wanting a nap thing. It's just tired from especially that's, with Zoom, it's like being constantly like screen time. So if I can kind of back down from that and recharge and do all that, then it's much better, for the clients and for me. So that's, I think really critical.
I can't even imagine having a client at 4 o'clock on a Friday.
No, I really try not to. It's like, and even these clients who are like, oh, and I don't want to I'm going to talk on this. And then feel like, whoa, I'm so sorry that I saw her at 4:30 or something. But it's like, I will see people at 4:30 if I have to, because they're working or they're doing something else. but for the most part, like that just is not a time when I'm really, really on. And for me, it's like working around, numbers and Medicaid and VA and income and tax strategies and things like that. Like, so if I'm doing all of that, like I have to have like a brain that is fresh to, kind of deal with that. And the family dynamics and all the other stuff that goes into elder law. It's like, I got to have all that.
Right.
Like,
right.
Top of
Well,
mind.
and you want to be the best that you can be for your clients.
Right.
And so,
yeah. I mean, I think we are, as women in particular, I think that we sometimes don't say no, or this isn't going to work for me. And we're so worried about losing a case or losing a client that we just, we say yes when we really should say no. And I think that's like probably the biggest thing that I've learned as I've gone like on in my career is like, no is also a sentence. It's a complete sentence. Like the shortest complete sentence, in the world.
Yes. And we'll put this in the show notes, but a couple episodes prior to you, I was talking with Jen Corso.
Oh yeah.
Who also used that phrase, no is a complete sentence when she talks about boundaries. So we'll link to that in the show notes.
That's so funny. Yeah. My doppelganger right there.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
For your viewers, it's like Jen Corso and I, if you go back and look at hers and look at me, we gain weight the same, we lose weight the same, we cut our hair, then we like, if she cuts her hair, I cut my hair. Like it totally like accidental. And this guy came into Jay Pistoni's and hugged me, thinking I was Jen Corso. And I was like, that is so nice. Again, power of no. I should have said like, hey, I don't actually know you. This was before COVID. Now it's like, don't touch me. But yeah, so I was like, oh, I'll relay to Jen Corso that, that you said hello, but here we are. Like, thanks for the hug. Weirdo.
Well, and you're both lawyers.
Right.
So
right.
it just keeps adding to your, so the fact that you quoted something that she just quoted.
Right.
Once again, shows the connection between the two of you.
Yeah.
So you had mentioned that you will take appointments at 4:30 if you need to, based on certain things, in that it's important to you to be all there, mentally and be able to do the best that you can do. What are some of the things that you do to recharge your batteries before a late afternoon meeting?
Wow. Well, I think it all starts with looking at the whole schedule. So if I'm doing that 4:30, I try to like lighten up the day or the week. And I've really learned that I can't do, 6 appointments a day after day after day, and expect to be like, and I should say this, I can do it. I don't like it. And then I end up getting really like crusty and grumpy. And, my staff is like, why is Rachel in such a bad mood? Blah, blah, blah. So I think it starts with like lightening up the schedule from there. And then I don't know, it might be an extra like mocha latte, or it might be just like taking a minute and like, just goofing around on the computer or taking a walk or whatever it is, that I need to do. So that I think is probably what I do. And then I think it's also making sure I set the expectation with the family. I mean, because there's nothing that drives me more crazy than like, I have a late appointment, which I want to get out of. And like, there's like, literally, I have certain friends and family members who are like, oh, it's 4:30. Wonder what mom's doing. Wonder what, and then they are like taking me out of my game in terms of like, I want to go home. Now I really want to go home because they need something, So it's like, I have to say, you guys, I have a late appointment. Don't call me. I will call you when I'm done, and just set that expectation, so I'm not the soccer mom that day. I'm the, my husband has to pick up that slack or whatever, Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, and I think I can be really, siloed. Like I can be at work when I'm in work, and then I'm home, I can be at home, and I don't really let the two cross too much. But like that 4:30 or like those times where it does like mix together, it's just very difficult, and I get emotionally like charged up about like, this work is taking me away from my family, and it's like, or vice versa, like, you don't care about my career. I'm a lawyer after all, so I try to like set those expectations, Yeah.
The drama, Rachel, the drama.
Always, right? It's just, they always say like women can have it all, right? But it's not always first of all, it's not easy, and it's not easy to have it all at the same time.
Yes.
So it's like, and you have to have a really good partner. There's no question. Like if my husband didn't pick up the slack and be like, I'm taking her, you're doing this, but all of that communication, it's like, I say like my husband and I, it's like we have a second company called like the, Kabb-Effron family. Like that's its own sort of, thing that we have to run and make sure everything gets done and paid and, all that, just like my company.
Exactly. It is a full-time business. And
Right.
then I also think sometimes that volunteering and being on a board is like its own special entity also.
Right.
What are some of the things that you do to balance the time that you're spending on board work and family and the
Well, I
company?
think with boards, I either it has to pass two tests. So one, I love it, or two, it makes me money in my company. And that could be like money, or it could be like prestige or something like that. So if it doesn't do either of those two things, like it's not something that's really important to me, or brings in enough business to make it work, then I tend to it has to pass those two tests, or I don't want to do it, or I start to get resentful of it. And so sometimes I just need to back down to a different position, like I did with our board that we're on together, and say, oh, I like this better. Like this is super exciting to me versus something else that was like, I didn't have the passion as much for. Yeah. So I just like try and make sure that I have, enough of that. And the board kind of has to work efficiently. So, because if it's not acceptable in my company for it to have that drama, then I really don't want to have the drama, on a volunteer board that's taking up hours and hours and hours of time. So I think I have to be pretty, like a little bit protective of myself in that regard. But if I love it, then it doesn't even feel like time to me. It feels like, just fun. And if I love the women or the people on that board or the mission, then all the better. So
let's back up a minute to something you said way at the beginning when we first started talking about how COVID's the best thing that ever happened to your business. So you whispered it. Right. And a lot of my clients share a similar thought, not necessarily the best thing that's ever happened financially. No, but right, like right. Usually it's not that. That's not what our bar is. Right. And obviously for anyone who doesn't know Rachel or I, we're not saying it in terms of like what's happening in the world.
Right. I don't want you to get COVID. Okay. Right. Like I work with elderly clients. I don't want them to get COVID. Yeah.
Yeah. Like let's throw out all the disclaimers. However, from a time management perspective, it has shown you a different way to work.
Right.
To share a little bit more about what you're doing now that's different that you will keep whenever we're out of the pandemic, whenever that may be.
I think that we are always going to be on Zoom. I don't think that we're ever going to really go back to full on in-person meetings. That said, for me, it's easier because I've got, I represent elderly people and their families. So it's very seldom that we have all 4 kids in the same city. So doing it on Zoom and being able to look at each other and see each other before they hire a lawyer, that's great. Like it's nice to have them in person, but why should all the kids fly in or drive in or do anything like that? So I think that's going to be here to stay. I think things that are efficient in terms of, again, for me, it's like we send you the documents, you review the documents. We have a second Zoom meeting to like review the documents. Then we have like a very short meeting in the office with our like full on spit guards, like sneeze guards in the conference room so that you are in here and out of here in 15 minutes. We're not going to ask like, does it say he instead of they or what? Don't care. Like that means we have to have another Zoom meeting. So we've been much more efficient as a staff too, to make sure that when we are sending something out, it's correct so that we don't have to have 6 or 7 Zoom meetings to go over something that, we should have. And now sometimes it happens. Like I have a client when I'm meeting with them today where it's like, okay, oh, I found another annuity of my day. Oh, okay, well, that I can adjust. But I don't want it to ever be like my mistake or that we missed something or we had to redraft. So I think that's a big thing. I think I would like to say being forgiving of one another, like when we do have just stuff going on, and that we know what's most important in our lives, which is our family and our health, more important than anything. So I'm not going to make myself crazy. Now there's still things I could do for my health, but I'm not going to make myself crazy, like stabbing you with like what you might have done wrong, versus just being like understanding and appreciative of anything people do for us. Especially like, we didn't realize how much we appreciated the Amazon driver, or, the guy at the post office who's like seeing, hundreds of people a day who could be all kinds of sick, or like at the grocery store. So to me, I think being appreciative is a big thing. And then I just think from a time management, it's like I could work from anywhere. So I can be at home, then I can, I had a call already this morning at 7. Now, I'm here at the office, then I can go back to, the house and do my last appointment or whatever. So, yeah, that's kind of a cool, a cool thing that I'm going to Portland next month, and I can work from there if I need to take an appointment. So probably won't, but I could, just because I just snorted. Oh my God, I fucked myself up, Lisa. Yeah. So yeah, because I just want to see my little niece.
Right.
Out there. Yeah.
Now, have you found that your staff can work just as easily from home, or are they still in the office, or how is that working with your staff?
Well, we have had obviously times when we were on like sort of lockdown,
right?
And when we had scares where like one paralegal did get the virus. So we sort of like shut down. So yeah, we can all work from home. We can all do log me in. I've got my scanner at home, a new printer at home, postage meter at home, or postage like weighing what is it, scale at home, so everybody can do that. We have like a phone system where, like, thanks to Heidi Murphy, we actually can, like, just even when we're in the office, we can send it out to be answered remotely by our receptionist at home with her new baby. So we just, like, there is some kind of technology for every problem, so that's been the greatest thing, I think, being able to do all of that from home. And we were talking yesterday about purple, like if we go purple, like what are we gonna, for those of you that are not in Ohio, our governor DeWine color codes us according to how much we can go out. So if we can't go out, even though we're essential, we all said like, okay, well, this is what's going to happen. And we're not going to have clients in the office at all, not for signings, not for anything. Of course, my dad vetoed that idea. I know that's shocking to you. He's going to still be seeing clients, but not me. So anyway, we're just trying to stay as safe as we possibly can for everybody, so.
Right. And I think the fortuitous thing right now about whether or not your county goes purple is that at least we have a little bit of notice and you can think it through.
Right.
Where before it was like, surprise, you're
right,
all for now you can think it through. You've been in here, you've been in the situation for a while, you've already built up some processes and some plans, and you can do it.
Right.
And I hope you don't go purple. Because my county, for those of you watching, my county is next to Rachel's county. So if she goes purple, I just feel like,
this, whatever. It's the whole thing where it's like, it's colleges. It's like a lot, most of the, it's like, what the heck is Butler County? And why are they like the highest number yesterday? And it was like, oh, Miami, University of Dayton, like all of these schools are there. So I'm just trying to like stay healthy, stay safe, keep my, my seniors are like, I think that's like the scariest thing is like I work with people who are predominantly over 80, 90. I've had a lot of clients where they survived that, right? But then they didn't survive the loneliness or other like problems like bed sores or, I mean, it's just been really, really bad. So, and again, so it kind of goes to the efficiencies too. It's like, if I've got to get something signed, I have to be really, really cognizant of COVID and like how many cases does that nursing home have? How do we get creative about witnessing a will from way across the room in the lobby, with masks and, it's like the whole 9 yards. So I even have COVID shoes that I wear to the hospitals because you got to spray them down on the, it's crazy. I had never thought in a million years that we would have a year like this. But it's about being creative. And if we can be this creative during COVID, we can be this creative when it's not.
Right.
right?
When it's not an emergency.
When it's
Right.
not an emergency, like how else can you solve this problem? And it's like, and I'm very much like, don't be a jerk to the employees. Like they're working so hard and I'm like so appreciative. So it's like, if they want to work from home because they got a cough, well, work from home. You do you. I'm going to be right in my house with my, like head covering or whatever, and my COVID shoes. Yeah, I have this one pair of boots, Lisa, that I like took to this one nursing home, and I knew that it was like filled with COVID, and I was like, I haven't worn them again. I gotta anyway. So
Right.
yeah, it's the problem. But I just think it's so important to be flexible and appreciative, and that if you can do those two things, everything else will totally come together.
Right. Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Tell us more about what you do. So you've mentioned that you're a lawyer and that your clients are elderly. What exactly does that all entail?
So, so as a certified elder law attorney, we help people navigate the long-term care maze. And so that can be legal care and financial. So when we have all of those things, we're supporting clients with decisions about, is it time to bring mom home? Is it time to put mom in? Is it time to, how do we get good care? Is it time to get on hospice? And all of those things have financial implications because the nursing home is going to be, somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 grand a month. So we need to figure out how does that get paid for by an average couple. So there's laws for all different things. And so we just help people navigate the legal, the care, and the financial parts of what it's like to be aging. And so that's basically what we do. Every client's different. And we've been doing it for, oh my God, I've been practicing law for 22 years now. So it's, I feel like that's crazy long, but it's crazier still that my daughter wants to go to law school.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Yes. I'm excited.
Congratulations.
No, it'll be great. She's like, oh, I'm going to turn your practice into an environmental law practice. I was like, okay, all right. I was like, I do, and I'm totally thrilled if she can. I think that's the greatest thing. I took over from my dad who had a totally different practice area. And I discovered that people, you could learn something, as a lawyer, you always kind of come out of school knowing a lot about an area that can help people. So it's a great career for me. So, so I'm totally stoked to have her potentially, I'd love for her to, go learn things from people. But I just think law is one of the greatest gifts, to my family. I mean, my dad's a lawyer. This will be the third generation. No, not even third, fourth or fifth, because his grandfather was a lawyer and a judge, actually. So, so it's just kind of a cool thing. And to own my own practice has allowed me to really do all of it. So help clients, determine how many clients I want to help, how many I don't, what I want to do. And then, just kind of and still have a family and, have now staring down the long road of retirement, I can potentially work from a sailboat, so it's kind of a cool thing.
Right. Which, if I remember the story correctly, your dad kind of did.
Yeah. I had my license 9 months and then he took off sailing down the East Coast and then he got a new boat and a new wife and sailed off again down to Venezuela all the way. So, and then he came back to work because it's kind of a fun thing to do. So that's practicing and he helps veterans with their disability claims and he really loves it. And his clients are so amazing with their stories and, the courage that they have. So I look at clients, even my World War II clients, if they could get through all of the stuff that they've seen in a lifetime, we can get through this.
Right.
Can you imagine if my dad had this happen at the same time in his career as I'm having this happen? It's there's no way he'd be able to, he still can't even do, he's doing better with Zoom. I'm pretty impressed for an 81-year-old guy, but just to be able to do this, it's we wouldn't have been able to do it,
right.
back when it was mail,
right. How would you have navigated that then?
Yeah. Can't even. Sure. Sometimes I wish we could. It's the same thing with COVID. It's it kind of slowed life down, definitely in the beginning and even still. So it's and I was how did my dad take 4-week vacations, right? And we had Mike McAllowitz, right? And he's right. In the next 18 months, I want you to take a month off. And I'm shut up, Mike. You sent a pandemic to make this happen where I had to take a whole month off, so it's but if we could just slow down, he would do 4 weeks on the sailboat and no mail, no phone, no cell phones, then we can also kind of slow it down, and make it like more like just easier. I should say, like, not necessarily easier, but more in like pleasurable to practice law. It shouldn't be like pulling teeth.
Right. More meaningful, more. Yeah, absolutely. So as we're talking about slowing it down and sailing and all of those things, it brings me to the idea of the 25th hour.
Yes.
So when you can do all the things that you're talking about, hold your boundaries and use Zoom and work in your sweet spot, what do you do with that extra time, quote unquote, that you create?
Right. We have our fallback hour this week. So
I know, like we really get one this week.
Sleep. No, I think in the 25th hour, I think so. First of all, I love things like theater, singing. I was in a choir before this happened. I was doing dance classes multiple times a week. And now, of course, I'm like adjusting, you know what I mean? And you can do things like online, but it's difficult to, to say what I'm doing with the 25th hour. But I think the biggest thing now, I don't know, I guess just kind of like chilling and working on myself and like, whatever it might be. It's like, there are things like the dance that still go on online. And, but I'm really just like kind of enjoying being a mom and being there for the people that I love. And, just doing stuff like that, I guess. It's kind of boring. We went to look for boats over in Annapolis, Maryland. So when that happens, we're sort of like in this like holding pattern until our condo. Anybody want a condo in Put in Bay? So we're just kind of relaxing and enjoying life, and that's about it for the 25th hour. Yeah. I
love how you just said, well, sleep, and then you named 30 things that you're doing with your 25th hour. So that is so essentially Rachel. That is so you.
Right.
How do people get a hold of you?
Well, you can check out our website, which is Kabblaw, KABBLAW.com. And there you can get all the numbers and emails that you need and learn about our office. And even the office dog Jake is on that website. He's got the worst dog picture on there. He just go check it out. It's worth it. So anyway, so that's where you can find me, Kabblaw.com, KABBLAW.
Fantastic. Thank you, Rachel. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. We'll have to do this again sometime soon.
Absolutely.